Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it. When was the last time you felt genuinely fulfilled? Not entertained, not distracted, not just busy, fulfilled. The kind of fulfillment that makes you sit back at the end of the day and think, that mattered. Now be honest with yourself. How many hours a day are you on your phone? 3, 5, 8, maybe more? You wake up and check it before your feet hit the floor. You scroll while you eat. You refresh between tasks. You swipe when you're bored. You watch when you're tired. You text to avoid silence. You consume constantly. And here's the strange part. You're stimulated all day long. Information, entertainment, drama, news, reels, notifications. Your brain never gets a break. And yet, at the end of the day, when the room gets quiet and the screen goes dark, there's that feeling. That subtle, uncomfortable emptiness. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's just there. A quiet sense that something is missing. You were busy all day. Your mind was occupied. Your thumbs were moving non-stop. But your life didn't move. And that's the part no one talks about. We've mastered digital stimulation, but lost emotional nourishment. If this hits a little too close to home, good. Because this isn't about shaming you. It's about waking you up.
What is it?
The problem isn't your phone. It's what your phone has slowly started replacing. Silence, reflection, real effort, real connection, real progress. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Most people say, I'm addicted to my phone. But that's not the full story. You're not addicted to the device. You're addicted to what it protects you from. Silence, boredom, loneliness, uncertainty, self-reflection. Think about it. When you're standing in line and there's nothing to do, what do you reach for? When a conversation gets awkward, what do you check? When you feel stressed, restless, or slightly uncomfortable, what lights up in your hand? Your phone isn't just a tool, it's a shield, a portable escape hatch from anything that makes you feel exposed. Every uncomfortable emotion, swipe it away. Every second of boredom, fill it instantly. Every moment where you might actually have to sit with your own thoughts, distract, scroll, refresh. And at first it feels harmless. But here's what's really happening. Silence is where clarity lives. Boredom is where creativity starts. Loneliness is often a signal that you need real connection. Uncertainty is where growth begins. When you immediately numb those feelings instead of facing them, you don't just avoid discomfort. You avoid development. You never give your mind the space to process. You never give your emotions the room to settle. You never give yourself the chance to understand what you actually need. And here's the dangerous part. When you constantly escape yourself, you slowly disconnect from yourself. You stop knowing what you truly enjoy, what you actually think, what you genuinely feel. You become reactive instead of reflective, always stimulated, never grounded. The phone isn't the addiction. Escape is. And the longer you avoid sitting alone with your own mind, the more foreign your own inner world becomes. That's where the emptiness begins. Your brain runs on a chemical called dopamine. And most people think dopamine equals happiness. It doesn't. Dopamine is anticipation. It's the maybe. Maybe this next post will be interesting. Maybe this next notification will matter. Maybe this next video will finally hit the way you want it to. That tiny sense of possibility is powerful. And social media platforms are engineered around that exact psychological trigger. Infinite scroll, unpredictable rewards, short bursts of novelty, new faces, new opinions, new drama, new stimulation. Your brain loves novelty because evolutionarily, novelty meant opportunity. New food, new territory, new advantage. But here's the problem. Dopamine spikes don't create fulfillment, they create craving. Every time you refresh and find something mildly interesting, your brain gets a small reward. Not enough to satisfy you, just enough to keep you searching. So you scroll more, not because you're happy, but because you're chasing that next laugh, that next shock, that next validation, that next tiny rush. It's the same loop slot machines use. Unpredictable rewards are the most addictive rewards. And when you finally stop, when the screen goes dark, when the battery dies, when you put the phone down, your brain drops below baseline. The stimulation disappears, and in that quiet drop you feel it, that hollow feeling. That crash. It's not that nothing happened all day, it's that nothing meaningful happened. Your brain was fed constant stimulation, but your life wasn't fed progress, connection, or purpose. Dopamine kept you engaged, but it never made you fulfilled. And that difference is everything. Look at your screen time. Not casually, not defensively. Actually look at it. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. How much of your day was creation, and how much was consumption? Because there's a massive difference between the two. Scrolling isn't building. Watching isn't practicing. Liking isn't connecting. Reading comments isn't expressing. It feels active, but it's not. You can watch 100 fitness videos and never get stronger. You can listen to motivational speeches every morning and never change your habits. You can consume relationship advice daily and still avoid one honest, difficult conversation. Why? Because consumption feels productive. Your brain mistakes information for progress. But information without action is just entertainment with better branding. Real fulfillment doesn't come from watching life. It comes from participating in it, from effort, from friction, from doing something that demands energy, attention, and courage from you. Writing something that might not be perfect. Going to the gym when you don't feel like it. Starting the business, making the call, having the hard talk. That's where growth lives. But your phone removes friction. It gives you instant stimulation without effort, instant opinions without responsibility, instant connection without vulnerability. And when your life becomes mostly frictionless, it becomes stagnant. Growth requires resistance. Muscles grow from resistance. Confidence grows from discomfort. Skill grows from repetition. Without friction, there is no strength. Without effort, there is no pride. Without participation, there is no meaning. If you constantly consume other people living, you slowly stop living yourself. And that's when the emptiness starts to feel real. You may not even notice it happening, but every time you scroll, you compare. Their body, their success, their relationship, their lifestyle, their money, their perfect mornings and luxury vacations. Even if you don't feel jealous, something subtle shifts inside you. Comparison doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It whispers, "You're behind." It whispers, "You should be further by now." It whispers, "Why isn't your life like that?" And after enough scrolling, it starts to feel like everyone else is out there living fully, while you're just watching from the sidelines. But here's the truth you have to remember. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You see their wins, not their doubts, their smiles, not their stress, their vacations, not their debt, their filtered moments, not their real life. The more you consume curated perfection, the more ordinary your real life starts to feel. Not because your life is empty, but because your expectations have been quietly distorted. And distorted expectations drain gratitude. They make progress feel small. They make stability feel boring. They make normal feel like failure. That's how comparison steals your contentment. One scroll at a time. There's another reason you feel empty. Your brain is overstimulated. From the moment you wake up, you're consuming. Alarm goes off. You check notifications. Breakfast. You're watching something. Work. There's music, podcasts, background noise. Nighttime. You scroll until your eyes burn. There's no space, no stillness, no silence. And when your brain never gets a break, it can't process your experiences. It can't integrate emotions. It can't reset. It just keeps absorbing. High stimulation rewires your baseline. Simple pleasures start to feel dull. A quiet walk feels boring. A book feels too slow. A deep conversation feels like it's missing something. Not because they are, but because your nervous system is fried. You've trained your brain to expect constant novelty, fast cuts, bright lights, endless input. Real life moves slower than an algorithm. And when your baseline is built on speed and intensity, normal life feels underwhelming by comparison. But here's the truth. It's not that life is boring. It's that your brain has forgotten how to enjoy calm. And until you lower the noise, you won't feel depth again. You can message 50 people in a single day, reply to stories, drop comments, send memes, react with emojis, and still feel completely alone at night. Because proximity isn't intimacy. Just because someone is a tap away doesn't mean they truly see you. Likes aren't understanding. Replies aren't presence. Views aren't validation. They're signals, not connection. As human beings, we're wired for something deeper. Eye contact that holds for a second longer than comfortable. A tone of voice that carries emotion. Shared physical space. The subtle energy shift when someone actually listens. There's a nervous system exchange that happens in real-life interaction. Your body reads safety. It reads warmth. It reads sincerity. Screens can't fully replicate that. When most of your communication is filtered through text bubbles and curated photos, something primal goes unmet.
Hey, check this out!
You don't get the full spectrum of human experience. The pauses, the laughter, the awkwardness, the physical presence. And without that depth, your relationships can start to feel wide but shallow. You're connected to everyone, but deeply known by very few. And that unmet need? It doesn't scream, it lingers. It shows up as that quiet emptiness after hours of digital interaction. You were socially active all day, but emotionally undernourished. Because humans don't just need interaction, they need intimacy. And intimacy requires presence, not just proximity. Here's the good news. You don't need to throw your phone away. You don't need to delete every app and disappear from the internet. This isn't about extreme detox. It's about rebalance. Because your phone isn't the enemy. Unconscious use is. So here's what actually works. First, create before you consume. For the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day, don't touch your phone. No scrolling, no notifications, no outside input. Write, stretch, pray, journal, plan, think. Start your day with your mind, not the algorithm. Second, schedule boredom. Go for a walk without headphones. Sit in your car for a few extra minutes in silence. Let your thoughts wander. Boredom isn't useless. It's where clarity returns. Third, replace passive scroll time with active growth. Read a real book. Train your body. Build a skill. Start that project you keep postponing. Consumption drains. Creation builds. Fourth, Protect deep conversations. One honest, uninterrupted conversation is more powerful than 100 shallow interactions online. And finally, track how you feel after scrolling. Not during, after. Awareness changes behavior. When you notice the emptiness, you'll start choosing differently. And that's where the shift begins. Here's the shift. Your phone isn't the villain. It's a tool, and tools are neutral. A hammer can build a house or break a window. Your phone can connect you or quietly disconnect you from your own life. If you feel empty despite constant stimulation, it's not because you need more content, it's because you need more meaning, more effort, more creation, more depth, more real, unfiltered connection. Endless scrolling feeds your attention. But it doesn't feed your identity. It doesn't build pride. It doesn't build mastery. It doesn't build memories you can actually feel. And that emptiness you feel, it's not a weakness. It's not a flaw. It's feedback. It's a signal that something inside you wants more than distraction. It wants challenge. It wants growth. It wants presence. It wants something earned, not instantly delivered. Your mind might crave comfort, but your soul craves progress. So the next time you reach for your phone out of habit, pause, just for a moment, and ask yourself, what am I actually trying to avoid right now? Is it boredom, stress, loneliness? A task you don't want to start, a conversation you don't want to have? Because once you become aware of the escape, you regain control. And once you stop constantly escaping, you start rebuilding focus, rebuilding depth, rebuilding real connection, rebuilding a life you participate in, not just observe. And that's where fulfillment begins, not on a screen, but in real, lived moments.